So let's talk about some email traps and pitfalls that we need to avoid. We're going to look at canned spam. We're going to look at avoiding spam filters. We're also going to look at the size of our list. So canned spam. This is an American law on what you need to communicate or what you should be doing when you send emails as an entity, a business entity. Now, the reason we're using the American one is because pretty much every other country in the world has adopted that. But if you're marketing to a specific country, you might want to check their spam laws. But we're going to use the American one as the default. The UK one's pretty similar, to be honest. But don't base your email on this course. Go and read the Can Spam Act for yourself. Go to your own country, your own ISP, and find out what the spam laws are. You must spend 5 or 10 minutes at least just familiarizing yourself with the do's and don'ts. What this is a quick guide through the key points of Can Spam, which are going to cover you, but this is not legal advice. So please don't take it as such. Number one, don't hide your email address. So what that means is when you send it from, it should show the email address it actually comes from. It shouldn't show a masked email address or a different email address. The other thing is you're not allowed to deceive with your subject line. So you're not allowed to say, hey, you've won the lottery, and then underneath say, no, you haven't, but buy my product. You're not allowed to do that. You can't deceive. You can't make false claims in the subject line. Now, if your message is an ad, you should identify it as such. Now, what we've been teaching you here is not an ad type newsletter. These are often content created or educational marketing style emails. But if you was going to use a discount promotion and you're offering a discount, you just need to mention that this is an ad somewhere in the email, probably at the footer, little start, this message is an advertisement. Now, one of the things you are required to do, which I see a lot of people don't do, is you are required to give your address. So the physical location of where you run the business from is required. You must always allow them to unsubscribe, so there must always be an unsubscribe option in the email itself. So you must be able to click on that. All of the good quality third-party email marketing providers will include that as default. And you're required to make sure they're unsubscribed. So if you use third parties, you're not going to have a problem here. But if you're creating your own email marketing list and you must make sure they're unsubscribed. If they've clicked unsubscribed and then you send them, you're in trouble. There are some massive fines. I've not heard of people actually being charged with them. So you want to make sure that you are actually complying. The other thing is managing third-party support. So if someone else is doing your marketing on your behalf and they make a mistake, get in trouble with Can Spam, you are still responsible. So if you're going to use someone to do your email marketing, make sure they're fully trained, fully aware, and fully concordant with Can Spam. So what we want to look at now is avoiding spam filters. Now, number one, it really is that simple. Use an email marketing supplier vendor. If you're doing it yourself, there's so many technical things you have to do. Really don't recommend it. I know there's going to be a cost every month, but make sure that you invest in this because they will check your email for you. And if they think there's anything spammy, they will flag it and refuse to send it. It'll be a big safety net for you. So make sure you do use a reputable email supplier. Now, one of the really good ways is double opt-in. And what a double opt-in is, they sign up to your email and then they're sent an email where they have to click a link to confirm that they signed in. That can be very valuable. You're not required to do it. I personally don't like it that much because it's asking for an action from the person, and I don't attract people that are going to send me false email or false email addresses. But if you think your email list is going to be targeted in that way, that is going to help you avoid spam filters. Here's a big no-no. Don't buy lists. A few years ago, it was a big thing. Everyone was selling email lists. Don't buy them because what will happen is your email providers or the people's email providers on those lists will identify that that email is being targeted by spam, and then you'll get marked as a spammer. Never ever buy a list from somewhere else. Always build your own list. Can't stress that one enough. Now, don't just add from other lists. So you might have an address book of people you know from college. They did not subscribe to your email marketing list just because they know you, just because they know you on Facebook. So you don't add from other lists. Always build that virgin list. Always build a brand new list. Now, you might change the focus of your newsletter, but if they've already signed up for your newsletter, we're not talking about that. What we're talking about is accessing your inbox. Or I've seen people do, local businesses, small businesses, go to a network meeting and they take your card, they say hi, and the next week they're sending you spammy emails, offering you printer toner cartridges. They didn't get that permission. That's spam, and people will mark it as spam. And once you get marked as a spammer, you can get your ISP shut down. Lots of horrible things can happen. Don't do it. Don't neglect your list. We touched on this earlier. They forget they're on your list. If you don't send them an email for 3 months or 6 months, and all of a sudden you go, oh, I'm going to send an email, I've got a new product, that'll do. They won't remember you, and they'll assume it's spam. So if you're going to do email marketing, do it consistently. Match your website brand. Again, we've talked about that. By matching the brand, you really communicate your identity so they know who you are. Avoid hard selling language. The algorithms now that they use, they're looking for buy it now, 55% off. They're looking for that. Try and avoid hard sell language. Sometimes you have to communicate the offer, but try and avoid, last minute chance to change your life. They're actually looking for those phrases. Here's some top little tips about actually the content. Avoid lots of exclamation marks. So don't have like lines with 5 exclamation marks and another line with 3, that sort of thing. And here's a top tip. Avoid green and red text. Spammers often use green and red text. A lot of the spam filters now will see green and red text in your email, and they will lock you out. Because of that, you'll get marked as spam. We don't want to train firewalls and spam traps. If we get marked in spam in one inbox, ISP will then mark us as spam, and they will communicate the fact that this is a spammy email address. Now, sometimes people are going to mark your stuff as spam because they're going to forget they signed up, or they're too lazy to press delete, or they think that's how you get rid of emails. And you're going to have spam reports in your email software so you can see what sort of levels you're getting. If you like MailChimp and you go over it, they're just going to shut you down pretty quick. So don't train them. Be really, really white as snow when it comes to these things. Now, top tip, get your email whitelisted. When you send the first email, it's always a good idea to say in there, appreciate you signing up. Please add this email address to your address book so that it doesn't get confused as spam. And what that does, that's whitelisting your email. So they'll receive that, and if they add, it won't get marked as spam. It won't come in and automatically filtered out. Because you've got to remember, there's 2 ways you're going to get marked as spam. There's the automatic filters. So that's where we're really careful about how we language and machine-based learning. They're looking all the time at the way your written text is communicated. And there's also the person actually physically pressing the spam button. They're the 2 things we've got to deal with. So if we get your email whitelisted, we're actually going to then avoid all those automated things because they've just told their ISP or their email provider, I trust this source, don't mark it as spam. So top tip there. Now, here's something that comes up quite often, and size of list. Targeted is better than big. What is a good size for a list? If you can get to 500 people on a newsletter list and they're targeted and you've got a targeted product, that's a good list. You see people talking about, I've got 100,000, I've got 50,000. If you've got 500 good quality leads on your newsletter list, someone can have 5,000 low quality leads, your 500 member size list will do better in terms of marketing. So what is a good size? Well, a good starting size is 500. Get up to the 504, 500. there's quite a few people have actually decided sign up and get on your email list. So I just want to encourage you not to think that you need this massive, huge list and get discouraged when you pick up maybe 30 or 40 new subscribers every month with your marketing and it doesn't seem like you're getting anywhere. Remember, it's iterative. As your email list grows, and we're using it in all these different ways, one, we can increase our sales revenue, but we can increase engagement on our content. We can create SEO on our website. A good list is a utilitarian list. There's so many different ways you can use it. It's so useful that we want to make sure that we're getting the best out of it. So the better quality subscribers you have, that's where the real value is. So don't focus on the size of the list, focus more on the quality of the list, and just be encouraged. That list will grow exponentially over time as long as you keep the work going.